Us Indians always stick together.
It was good for sound.
Yo, are you with me or you against me?
Well, you missed the 1,000-pound reward.
You swam, bam, right on the money.
I'll tell you what, we're going to Carabobla, which is just up the road, so it's not too far. Most of the gear's up there, and we've got about 20 minutes to get there, so it's a nice leisurely ride. See you up there.
Mad Dog Morgan was a kind of a seminal figure in Australia's bushranging history, and that's the basic reason why I wanted to make the picture. They referred to him as Mad Dog because he was humiliating the wealthy squatters in the Riverina area, and they started pressurizing the press to put this man down, and that's how history was written. And basically the story is very simple. It's a story about someone who was pushed about and beaten down, but who wasn't broken down and decided to rebel.
Bob?
Yeah, you just stay there, mate.
Can you spread them out a bit more, mate?
Chris, if you could get all the Chinese extras onto the other side of the bridge, and I'll direct you where to put them from there.
Yes, some of those that are sitting on the side there, mate.
After I'd done quite a bit of reading on the bushrangers, I discovered that Morgan was regarded really as the outlaw's outlaw. 30 years after he was dead, Ned Kelly used to ride into battle shouting, "Hurrah for Dan Morgan, long live Dan Morgan."
Testing. Bob, get someone digging. See where that guy is there? Get someone digging around there.
Mike, are there plenty of women down there, mate?
Everyone stand by, please.
Yep. That area there.
Ready? Rolling? You rolling? Rolling.
232A, take one. Action on the Goldfield.
Up there! Up there! Up! Go on there! Up! Up there!
One thing that you have to remember about the period that Mad Dog Morgan is set in is that Australia didn't exist as such. It was really a group of British colonies. So all the Australian actors had to try and lose their Australian accents.
The police across the river border are totally and completely incompetent.
There were 3 men who would stop at nothing to catch Mad Dog Morgan.
If Morgan crosses the river, he will not last 24 hours in Victoria. He will be relentlessly and mercilessly cut down. Thus, the boil will be expunged and obliterated.
As senior officer here, I assume command of this situation. There are 2 points I would like to stress, which you will relay to all the armed civilians. Firstly, we will take Morgan alive. Secondly, if there is a need to open fire, care will be taken to aim at his limbs.
It's for malefactor. And on this island, we brand you, so you'll never forget for the rest of your life what you are.
David Gulpilil plays Morgan's Aboriginal accomplice who taught Morgan how to survive in the bush. And Dennis Hopper is Mad Dog Morgan.
I'm just going to tell you one thing. I'll never believe your father was white.
Dennis is a method actor, and a real method actor.
The book. Well, see this. Well, the magic cigarette.
That means that he totally immerses himself, subjugates his whole personality to the part that he's playing.
Good beer down here in Australia.
Well, that creates problems because, you know, he never stops living the part. There are just trivial things like him bailing up people in the Hilton Hotel in Sydney and Melbourne. During the whole shooting period, he continually spoke in an Irish accent. I think Dennis also fits into the kind of rebel image because his previous big success, Easy Rider, was a modern version of Mad Dog, if you like.
Easy Rider here.
Quiet, please. Action. Cut. Yep.
Any extras who were there?
From a director's point of view, it's a coordinating problem. You have to coordinate all the practical difficulties, the transport, the weather, the camera setups. You have to coordinate all that with the emotional and psychological feelings of the actors. So there's this feeling of tension which builds up before each take because everyone's running around doing their bit. Dennis is just going to go for you.
I'm gonna say the line, you bloody bastard. You watch what you're doing, you bloody bastard, but I'm gonna go for it.
Hiya, claim-jumping bastards.
You watch what you're doing, you bloody bastard.
What are you, dumb face? Some yellow-ass chink-loving you...
Don't ever hold me. Don't ever hold me when I'm in a fight. That's the way you get hurt. I know you mean well. What's that bloody bastard's name?
Wendland.
Wendland.
Jesus, you've got an Irish temper.
Well, I've got a little nick in me.
Cut.
Jury is coming in the background once they stop. You've got an Irish
Covering who in the background?
Martin and the other guy.
That's okay. That doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Print that, thank you.
That, yep.
Check the gate.
Howdy. Rope him up. Oh, cut, no good. Airplane, no good for sound. Airplane's gone. Okay, it's good for sound. Roll 'em. Rolling speed. Buzzer. Clapboard. Take 6. Bang, clank. Powder puff. Action.
My leg! The bastard shot my head!
Well, I think it's probably physically harder. Just because of the part I'm playing. I've never been on a thoroughbred racehorse, for example, or ridden an English saddle. And they take you for a spin. Morgan, I think he was insane. I think he realized he was insane at the end of the film. At the end of his life, actually, he was alive. But I think that he was driven insane by his society. I could look like this man Lincoln. I like the way he looks. I could look like him, you see. And he did hang out with the abolitionists. Different than Ned Kelly, he worked alone, except for this telegraph service, which were abolitionists. And he was very into Lincoln, and he was into the Civil War at the same time. I don't think of him. Well, actually, I don't see any difference between being here and being in the West. But I mean, the people digging for gold, you know, they had to have a license, that the police were busting them all the time, they were going to jail, that they were trying to build Australia and build roads and so on, and he did 6 years, was sentenced to 12 years, did 6 years for, like, stealing $60 worth of clothes.
No, matey, I won't be drinking with you. Now, because I've come here to tell those bloody flash police of yours that they'll not be doing what they're talking about doing to me. And I'm going to give them a chance at the blood money, too. What call you, senor? Call me Mr. Daniel Morgan. Hey!
Well, he didn't kill them in the beginning. He only embarrassed them in the beginning. He didn't kill anyone, but when he finally did kill, he killed a lot.
You stop McLean! Stop McLean! You stop Ross short!
We searched for a long time for an actor who was capable of playing Dan Morgan, because it's not only a psychologically demanding part, it's a physically demanding part.
You know what? I talked myself out, man. But I got better dialogue.
I think Dennis is an underestimated actor. I think that's one of the things that's emerged from Mad Dog, is what a great actor he in fact is.
Will Rogers was here, you see, in Australia. Well, he's in New Zealand in 1902 with the Texas Jack Wild West show, and he was here in 1903. And he said that the Australian people were the most conceited people on earth. However, there were kangaroos jumping around like jackrabbits, and that he had always been proud of being a Cherokee Indian, but that he found that he was even prouder of being an American, because there's so many big stories going around about Americans these days that they had a hell of a reputation keeping their stories together. And he was helping keep those stories together. And that he was very proud to be an Australian, being American. And I find the people here very kind, very kind, very kind indeed.
I've come for opium. I'll take you to the wilds.
Where's the opium bin?
To Australia, where there's 17 women to every man. That'll bring a lot of people here. Here now, my God. We barely know English.
I'm going to go in the opium
Excuse
bin.
me. Yeah, me too. I'm going to go have some opium.
Oh, look at that.
Ah! Right. That's where I'm going. Ah! Wait, shoot. I mean, get a shot of this, boys. My God, look at these girls. Girls! Girl, what kind of a shot is this? They won't respond to me. They never do, you know. Not to stars. Watch your head. Don't bump it. There's a big crossbeam right behind you. You must have kept that fell off. Down in front. Wait a minute. These fires, man. Hey, off the set.
Here we go. Quiet, please. Line it up. Okay, wait to see Mitchell.
Are you sure it's all right to do this?
I find when you're in the gold fields, it's the best cure for not finding gold.
Mad Dog Morgan is set in a period of Australian history when Australia was really a melting pot of racial tensions, social tensions. So the background is really quite violent, because society was violent at the time.
Will you have all the miners that were inside the opium den in there, please, now? Right by the entrance, please.
Violence is very difficult to show on screen.
Well, the one where you hit him with a pellet gun.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, at the same
It's dangerous for the actors. They actually have explosives on them.
as well around him. You got me?
Right, I got you.
So I have to synchronise. Yeah,
It's more than just a couple of buckets of blood.
Righto, stand by. Quiet everywhere, please.
Start screaming.
Cut, please. Stand by to go again.
Mark it.
247, take one.
Action.
We're gonna fix you to move tight and fast.
You Chinese loving bastard.
Righto, turn over. Feet up. Action.
Anybody who takes opium deserves what you got.
Turn over.
254, take one.
Action everywhere, please. Action. Keep running. Dennis coming up. Keep running around the opium den. Keep running. Keep running, everyone keep running.
One of the most dangerous scenes in the film involved a stunt depicting Morgan's nightmare. These difficult scenes would be impossible to film without great stuntmen like Grant Page.
Yeah, so like then you go off 75 feet, right? 75 feet.
That's going to be the hard one.
All right, you go 12 feet out, and you hit 11 foot of water.
12 feet out from that rock down there because there's an L shape of jagged rocks underneath about
I'm going to tell you
11
something,
feet
mate.
down. What?
For 21 years in the business, I've never seen anything like that. I work for all the maniacs, Hathaway, George Stevens, all the maniacs, you know what I mean?
The main thing, mate, is that we're not using any extinguishers. All we're using is a water gel blanket. There's no asbestos suit. It'll just be a coating of water gel on the skin underneath. When I hit the water, I'll go under. Now, the water's going to be on fire. The main thing about that is I can't come back out again. So we're going to have to swim out this way and come up outside of the flame. The main hassle is aiming backwards because I can't look back. I'll have to take a sight through my legs, then do the jump and run it on memory. And they estimate the speed of entry is going to be about 50 miles an hour.
Stuntmen are generally underestimated in the film business. Their contributions are outstanding in terms of impact on the screen.
Yeah, sorry about that going wrong there, but
It's such a drying day.
Very dangerous stunt.
And
Very
it took,
dangerous
yeah,
stunt.
well, it took us about a minute and a half waiting for the fire down below.
Yeah.
By that time, I'd already half dried out.
Yeah, very dangerous, but it looks sensational through the
As long as the
camera.
shot's good,
Yeah.
mate, that's all that matters.
It's on film. 3 days later, Grant Page took the leap over the cliff. It was a fitting climax to the shooting of Mad Dog.
Okay, there were only 3 actors to me, ever, really. I mean, in my life after the age of 13 and 14, and that was Clift and Brando, Montgomery Clift and Marlon Brando and James Dean. I mean, they really got to me. And like you have to realize that, like, well, similar to Australia, we're going through, and we've been going through, like, problems of, like, always emulating the Europeans. I mean, like, let's face it, like America, and the first time America had any art form at all was abstract expressionism. Well, inventing the camera, okay, and movies. I'm not, okay, but like, I mean, we always emulated the English actors. I mean, we always did. Like, we had no real acting of our own, and even though the method acting is really Russian, and it's Stanislavski in principle. I think Lee Strasberg and Sandy Meisner and Stella Adler, like, made it ours,
Come on through here. Come on through here. Simon!
Morgan!
Simon! Simon, is it? Well, I'll tell you. Huh? Hi!
Stanislavski thought the greatest actor he had ever seen when he visited the United States was Gary Cooper. Now, try that one, man. They said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, that's what I've been trying to get people to do all the time, moment-to-moment reality. Moment-to-moment reality. He said, I don't care whether he changes clothes or changes roles or whatever, as long as he can stand up there and say, how are you doing? The obvious, I mean, like, you read a script, it says, da-da-da-da-da-da, bang. Then it says, action is, you laugh, he laughs, she laughs, he hits him, she hits him. That's a lot of jive, man. It's sincerely. Scratch all them out, man. For any people out there who want to be actors, scratch it out, man. Scratch out all those intentions and try to find your own.
Stand up! Stand up, all of you! Move forward! Put your hands over your head, all of you! Move up! Move up!
Over the border, oh, why did he wander? It's cold out, it's strangers all friendless to roam. Was it that the absence might make him grow fonder of those he had left in his own native home? Shot like a dog in the bright early morning, shot without mercy who mercy had none. Like a wild beast without challenge or warning, soon his career of dark villainy is run. So over the border to rifle and plunder, over the border went Morgan the bold. Over the border a terrible blunder, for over the border bold Morgan lies cold.
Back on the set, please.
And back on the set, please.